To be honest, sometimes I actually have.
Hey everyone, welcome in. Just type in the chat what Indoor Gamer, thank you. Just type in the chat what style you would like me to start right there. Hey Jaden. So if you have a style in mind that you'd like me to start right here, well, I have the realistic up here. So I'm going to save that one for last. So if there's a specific one that you want to see, any type of effect you can think of. Anime? Okay, we'll do that. Start by erasing everything away. Still going to keep a faint amount because we still want to see slightly what it looks like when we course correct essentially how the character is going to look. So when we think about anime, we have to think about the proportions being slightly different depending upon the anime style that we're going to do. So let's write down for the first one. Oop. All right. Now, screen is kind of blurry. Oh, well, hold on. Let me just scooch on in. All right. It's also because the... Oh, is my Wi-Fi really crapping out because of the storm? Well, yeah, if... It might be due to the storm. Let me see my... Oh, no. It's because I'm on 5G, and that's awesome. Let me go back. Really? We're going to do this now. Okay. As I drop my... Lots of lovely technical difficulties, because, you know, that's awesome. All right. We should be good now. So now... Let's get back to where we were. When we think about specifically anime characters, we want to change not too much because fundamentally it is going to be a very animated character, but I do want to make a lot of things a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner than your traditional cartoon style. Yeah, it's because I had it on 5G instead of the Wi-Fi. So what we're gonna do is to basically redraw this, but keep everything a little tighter. And what I mean by that is we're gonna make the lines sharper and crisper. So let's first redraw a little bit of everything. And then we're going to do a cellular animation. So specifically for what this part of the anime that I'm going to do is, instead of having like really soft, rounded features as the character is, I'm going to just basically give it a little bit more of a swoop to it, a little bit more of an action. So it has more of a, I guess, a shonen anime feel. But let me ask you guys, what are some of your favorite anime? And there are no wrong answers. Dragon Ball Z is a very good one. I grew up on that back in the 90s when it first came to the United States. So I'm going to bring the leg up here because I really want to have more of an action line. I want a little bit more movement in the character rather than this to really show the pose as a whole. Hi, Liberty. Welcome on in. And then for the feet, I will just draw this one little foot in. But I am going to hearken to probably one piece with this and draw the foot a little bit slimmer, but really extend the foot outward, kind of like this. Because the limbs, they have like their hands really like wide out and they kind of really extend. It really shows the elasticity of the characters. Do want to kind of present a little bit more of a claw like with the character. Now I know this still kind of looks cartoon, and that's because, well, it is the bottom corner, but I did want to take away some of the roundness, add a little bit more pointiness to the line, so that way when we do our line work now, it will be less cartoony. And to achieve that, we're going to use a very thin liner. I've seen you in the comments, Liberty. I think you commented on that Toy Bonnie one that I had. But to erase away some of the lines or the excess graphite, we'll do this. Slip this paper underneath. And then we can ink it all out. And instead of a traditional Hanna-Barbera or Disney cartoon, we're going to go with a much thinner line. With controlled line work throughout. One thing that is very prevalent in anime is studio, what's going on? Very prevalent in anime art is their line work. It is impeccable. So we don't want to just throw lines out there. We want them to be precise. We don't want them to be trembling and nervous. And when we do that is we use our whole arm. So we'll just pull everything across like this. And then use very controlled, precise movements. Whenever you watch a professional anime artist, their line work, precision, they do not take it for granted. Every line has precision and purpose, probably more so than any other drawing medium. Even traditional cartooning or caricature. It's like they have, see, like I just kind of put a little bump there. Like they have a high quality of respect for their line work. And I'm just trying to get this done in like a 2-hour window. So yeah, we'll try and clean this up when we go deeper into the coloring and shading phase. Is my pen dying on me? This might be dying on me. Let's switch it to another one. Let's see. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's smooth. That is like butter. Cotton candy would be an interesting. Okay, okay. Can I do it? Of course, Braden, I can do a neon style. So let me ask you, what would you, when a cotton candy comes to mind, what were you thinking specifically about cotton candy? Because I have never thought about that kind of style. That could be something I can keep. So let me know, like, what is that? What? See, the one fundamental thing with art is it has to give us an intrinsic feeling. So, like, when you said cotton candy, right? That I think of an explosion of color, right? Like bright, vivid pastels and things like that. So, what does it make when you think about that? What does it make you think specifically? Because I do like that. It does have really fun context to it. Blue and pink, definitely. Okay. Pink and blue smudged together in a cloud effect. Okay. All right. You know what? I like that. That sounds pretty cool. And it's something I've never tried, so we'll try it together on stream. Okay. Now let me pull up the colors that I'm going to need for Miss Maple here. All right, so we're going to need 2 sets of colors. We're going to need a shadow color. We're also going to need a highlight. So I'm going to do that as my base. And then we need something a little bit darker, probably for, yeah. So that'll be the base and the shadow for that. We're going to need a light brown, chocolate, and then natural oak. So we'll probably do that for base and shadow. And then for the shirt, we're going to need a nice little wonderful green. And it's got to be a bluish dark green. Now, if you can see, these are all the colors that I'm working with here. So it's just a cacophony of colors. But we're going to try and find a couple of greens that fit this. Okay, so let me see what green I want to pick. All right, since I don't have an exact, we'll just have to go with something pretty close and try to finagle it a little bit. And if not, well, we can try. That's all we can ask for. Where's a nice gray blue to go over the top? Let me see. Gray blue, gray blue. Gray blue, where are you? I can't seem to find you. I'm gonna go with. No, I think my biggest problem, color selection for me has always been my biggest downfall, is trying to find just that perfect color that does not exist. It is my hubris when it comes to art. My fatal flaw, if you will. But we will struggle through together. Saunter on. All right, you know what? We'll just go with the simple gray over the top. And then what we'll do now is have fun coloring. Boom. And boom. Boom. One thing I will always recommend is when you color to take your time. Do not go too crazy. And if all you have, that's why I like to, in my videos, I like to use a lot of chisels and brush nibs, is because not everyone has a brush nib. So a lot of times what I like to do is showcase that you really don't need a brush nib. If you have enough control and patience, you can get beautiful blends and smooth coloring across. Also, the paper helps. This is a mixed media paper, Bristol board, which is really good for color control. Can hold a lot of pigment in the paper itself. Thanks, Indoor Gamer. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was really, really fun. I'm just kind of sad of his take with Poppy Playtime because I know it's really big with my community, and I know that he's a massive horror gaming person in general. So it's just kind of sad that he's so down about the series as a whole. So now, important thing about anime is that they run a usually 2 to 3 tone anime 2 to 3 tone coloring system. So what we're going to do is add a very minimal amount of shadow. This is what's called cellular animation. They call it that because everything used to have to be hand painted on celluloids and layered over the top of each other, and then that's how you would get the multi-tones. But to add a small amount of highlight, we'll just drop in a paint pen just to pop in those subtle highlights. I do like that cotton candy one. I think we're going to go with that one next. But let's see. Look up on chat. Look up on chat. Look up on chat. Studio, yeah, I definitely would recommend it. What should I look up on chat, Liberty? Water? Oh, yeah, water. I'm actually doing water. Oh no, I'm doing wooden. I might do the FNAF style. I might for the top section. I'm thinking I might do cotton candy here next, and then I shall check to see. Hey, did my music run out? No, come on. Music? Come on, no. Let's run it from the top. Give us something nice, little ambient background music. All right, there we go. All right, so ready. Now let's tackle the clothing, the pants. If you have to color large areas like this, see how I'm taking my time? But B, it's kind of like mowing your lawn. You can't just go one stripe, then one stripe next to it. You kind of have to overlap ever so slightly, and that's how you'll get really good coverages over wide areas. That's a nice little tip for anyone who's got alcohol markers and they want to know how they can cover large areas. Just take it by sections and make sure you overlap. By doing so, you'll be able to cover sections and minimize the streaking. Okay, and again, got the dark shadow. Underneath. I do have another important question to ask. Would you guys want to watch stream, and gals, want to watch a stream where I just draw all of any character from like A to Z? So if you said an anime character or a cartoon that had A, and then I would go to B, C, D, etc. Let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I was thinking about doing that for my next stream. And then the green for the shirt. And we shall be done with the anime style. Okay, now what we can do is take this nice little... Alright, cool, thanks, Jaden. Cool, thanks, Indoor. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I've seen like that trend on TikTok and on a couple of other streams, and I thought it would be kind of a cool take. And then paint this dark. Paint this dark. We're keeping the shadows pretty minimalistic on this one. Highlights will be also minimalistic as well. I just want to add a little bit of punch of color, not much. I might be adding a little bit more than what's prevalent in most anime, but that's just because I'm a fan of color. I'm a fan of something that has a lot of design nuance to it. And then one last time, just going to go back just to punch up the dark. 1, 2. Punch up the line work. And you go back over with my pen. Okay, now this is complete. We're going to make this one cotton candy. That's just cotton. You know what? So I think to get the maximum effect out of this, what we want to do is erase away almost all, slide this over, almost all of this colored pencil. So we don't want to pick up any of the residual dust of this color pencil. And now I could try this 2 different ways. I think alcohol markers would be the much better choice overall, strictly speaking, because they'll add a soft layer of color to it. But paint pens could be a lot more visual representation, but it would be a little bit cartoony. So do you want to see paint pens, or do you want to see alcohol markers and have like more of a fluid, smooth blend to them? What does everyone think? As you guys decide, I shall pick colors. I already have them set up either way. But we want to go with soft pastels. So I already have the color scheme in mind. It's just paint pens or alcohol markers. Okay. Paint pens, alcohol markers. Tie goes to the runner. Maybe paint pens. All right. Well, I shall put the alcohol markers back, and we'll just strictly stick to paint pens. So, easiest way that I can think to achieve this effect is by starting with the lightest of the light base layer across the entire thing. So instead of using these nice bad boys, what I'm going to do is grab one of my cheaper... Actually, you know what? I'm going to lie. Yep, Liberty, I might do FNAF right here. It sounds like a nice little unique concept. So what I am going to do is I'm going to lie. I'm going to use both, but I'm only doing this to save a lot of paint with the paint pens. And I'll tell you why in a second, because I'm going to do this entire thing in a very soft shade of pink. And then we'll use that as the base layer. And then we'll pop in all the highlights and the shadows with all of the paint pens across the top. So it's still primarily paint pens. And we're not looking for smoothness here. In fact, we're not looking for... It's okay to like leave some of the spots white because cotton candy has a translucence. It's not meant to be clear 100%. So, and of course, my mind keeps going to the scene from Hell of a Boss where it's Beelzebub doing the cotton candy song. Alright, so now we're going to get a whole bunch of pinks and purples and light blues. And this is how this effect is going to come to life. Now that we have no more music yet again, hit play. And now we know exactly what everything is going to look like. We know where the shadows are. We know where the highlights are. So from there, we want to just think of wisps of color layered across. And this is where we allow the realistic side to kind of merge with the surrealistic side. Because if we know where the highlights are and we know where the shadows are, we can just weave in color in slow dribs and drabs and pulls. And add really cool effects throughout this thing. This is kind of always like the fun impressionistic style that I like to do. Surrealism, etc. So is this the W or L take? Let me know. This might be really cool. This might be really crap. But it's okay. We'll figure it out together. It's like that sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe you know what mean. Still want to keep where our lines are. And add all these nice little areas. So we're still going to kind of like redraw a bit with our color pencils. I mean, paint pens, but we can flick in colors. We're going to weave them over the top of each other and just build up layer after layer after layer. And by doing so, we'll have like this really woven, wavy, ocean, watery kind of feel. And it's just, I want to progressively go darker and darker into the blues and into the dark purples. And that's what's going to give us our depth, is if by adding each layer in different sections, we're going to get that waviness, that three-dimension, still keep the three-dimensional feel. This is challenging, and I always enjoy a challenge because we don't want harsh edges. We want things to look smooth and fluid, but yet we still want it to look like the character. So this is always fun to try new things, and this is definitely on the newer side of the spectrum. Let's build up colors. Build up more color. Ooh, that's a really unique purple. Okay. Keep some of that in there. Keep that. I'm almost going to use this one as like a highlight because it kind of pops as like a light purpley gray, which kind of works. Yeah, it's going to be a unique layer by layer process, but that's part and parcel of the fun. And we're going to use this nice blue as like the... And I'm just kind of going along with feel. This isn't like, ooh, the blue deserves to be here. It's more of like, where do I want it to kind of flow? And maybe a little kind of drags across here and comes back around and weaves in. It's not necessarily, this is where it's more like a painterly process. We're kind of figuring it out along the way, using that blue to kind of cut through and give shape and form to everything without actually drawing a line. Like, this is where the pocket is, so blatantly. You know, it's like, allow it to kind of just have the form and let the form follow it with the colors popping off the page. And then blend it together in this surreal color scheme. If anyone has any questions about art, I'm happy to help. Do not feel like you have to hesitate to ask. Thanks, Braden. Just like the way I... Oh, you're into filmmaking, Indoor Gamer? What kind of filmmaking do you do? And I am going to go over this with a white in a lot of spots because I want some of the highlights to kind of pop, but we'll save that for a later moment. If I was to redo this again, I would definitely consider using more of the whatchamacallit, paint alcohol markers, just because I think they would blend smoother. But what is my favorite piece of art I've made? I've made so many different pieces of art. I'm a really big fan of Fallout, the video games, and the Fallout series. So that would be a dual piece by two characters. And yeah, so that's probably something that I would say I love the most. That is probably one of my favorite pieces. But yeah. I will show it for you all in just a second. Just want to start weaving this color in and making it have that really cool cotton candy look. But here, I'll show you. Alrighty, let's see if I can find it. This is probably my favorite piece of anything that I've done, and I've drawn hundreds. Yeah. This is probably my favorite thing, because this is Marcus from Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 2, and this is the Master, who was kind of the primary antagonist of Fallout 1. And yeah, and he's also, sorry, Marcus is also in Fallout 1. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of that video game series. I just love the way everything looks in that piece, and that's pretty much my, one of, if not my favorite piece that I've done in stream. I'm sorry, for the channel, rather. And now let's add this nice, rich, purpley color. And just weave it where some of the darks should be. I love this surrealistic feel. It's color without color. It's shape without shape. It's form without form. And it's just, yeah, it's like you could see the form here, but it's not there. And it's just really cool. Like your mind is interpreting the image by these floating bits of color and space. And that's just, to me, that's always kind of cool stuff. I always am a huge fan of color play, almost like a Rorschach, but with color. Just shows you don't always need certain things to create really cool pieces. And so far, I would say this is definitely going to stay in the future. This is definitely going to be. Thank you so much, Braden. Thanks, Studio. Appreciate that. No problem. I think it's a really cool suggestion overall. And it's something I'm definitely going to keep going forward. But what I am going to do is add a little bit of white just to kind of bring everything together. White becomes a lot more opaque than almost any other color. So when we add it and kind of flick it in layers, we can build up that. You see how it basically blends everything out. So and once again establishes just another final layer of forms. So what we do is just put little bits of white here and there just to help blend everything out and establish that weave of like cotton. I think for next time I will use paint pens and then kind of use some alcohol markers a little bit more just to see which one has a better flow. But overall, 100% satisfied with that. I think that looks great. And I'm not just tapping myself on the back. Do a Deadpool style. That would be more of like Marvel, if anything. And I have done Marvel in the past. But I think I do want to see this face as a FNAF animatronic. And I am going to take Liberty's suggestion because it was kind of cool. So what we will do is a FNAF up top here. Mainly because this is going to require, and Liberty, if you're still here, let me know, were you thinking more of a certain character? And if anyone has a certain character that they think would fit well, let me know in the comments. Later, Jaden. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. So, Liberty, is there a specific character that you think would work well? Or does anyone want to say, like, hey, Springtrap, Spring Bonnie, or just, hey, make your own FNAF character? Because I could just wing it and make my own FNAF character. Probably make a FNAF, probably Foxy. Well, you know what? Foxy would be the best representation. So Foxy, look a little closer. Connecting. You are connected. Connecting. You are connected. Sorry about that. It's just you should be able to refresh. It should be back. It's just whatchamacallit. It's just stream with some issues here. All right. Oh no. I don't know if anyone can hear me. I don't know if anyone can hear me, but if you can, stream is just the Wi-Fi, because of the internet and everything else is crashing like crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jaden. It's just we've had a storm up here in the Northeast that dropped like nearly 2.5 feet of snow, and just killing the internet right now. So I'm just gonna have to try and reconnect. Just bear with me for 1 second, because yeah, I got like no Wi-Fi coverage. So just bear with me for 1 second. I do apologize. It's been kind of rough trying to stream with all this. Might have to just postpone it for Thursday, so we'll see. Back online. Alrighty, there we go. Sort of. FNAF animatronics. Okay. All right, so now, all right, if everyone with me, cool, we're here, we're copacetic, sort of, maybe, if not, a little bit. You will struggle to get through this. I am determined. But let me just see where we are with the chat. Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Let's see how this looks now. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, all right, cool. So what we're going to do is bring the nose out, but keep it round. We're going to make the ear a little rounder. Got it, Liberty. Brody Games, what's going on? Wait, now it's draws? I thought it was games. Oh, but King Brody, what's going on? It's been a long time. How have you been? I'm still going to keep her intrinsically the same. I'm just going to make her animatronic-y, for lack of a better phraseology. So the face will be the same. Ears will be slightly different, because we're going to add that like FNAF animatronic look. We're going to change the cheeks around, because, well, the mouth and everything else are a lot different on these characters. So we're just kind of going to keep it still the same, Am I on mute? I am on mute? Am I on mute? Can you guys hear me? Just let me know. Can you hear me? Why am I on mute? Hold on 1 second. Apologize. Wait, you guys can hear me? Oh, so you can hear me. Okay. All right. I don't know why someone said I was on mute. All right, no worries. Let's hop back up. So we are going to keep the character intrinsically the same. We're just going to change some of the fundamental aspects to make her more animatronic-y. So what we're going to do is I'm not going to do damaged or withered. So what I want to do is bring out this. Bring that down. Bring this out. Make it another kind of rounded shape. The teeth, that's interesting. So I am going to make it more, so they are beaver teeth, but I want them to be FNAF. So instead of having a triangular shape, we're going to bring down, we're going to keep the gap like they do in the FNAF, make them a little rounded. So the character still is represented. It's still something that we know. And then keep this little jawline here. And then bring in a side mouthpiece here. There. And as we're kind of like exploring how we're going to complete the character, there's lots of like just free sketching that goes on. Nothing is permanent yet. Thanks, Endor. I actually haven't yet. I'm surprised my nieces and nephews haven't asked to be taken to see it yet, but that's, yeah. So now for the shirt, I did see the first one, love the first one, but have not seen this one. So we're going to add a shoulder pauldron because they kind of use more of a rounded animatronic pauldron. And then we have the hand that comes up here. Then has like we'll have like a rounded wrist section here. And then for the hands, what we're going to do is just keep them similar to how they are, but almost cartoon-like. So, and this is also really good exercise for when you're at home, right? Like this is how I would break down hands if I was just doing a character. So I'm kind of feeling it out, but I'm breaking it down into simple forms. And then from there, I'm going to extrapolate out more and extrapolate it out more. But now we got the rounded thing. We will bring the vest up. The vest is still kind of just going to be more cosmetic. It's kind of like Freddy's bow tie. So it's just a layer, but it's not really like there. It's more like it's painted on. All right, so now we color. Except I'm going to go a little bit lighter because their characters are a touch lighter than typical variations. So we will do this. We will have... yeah, that fits perfect. And again, when we color, go nice and smooth all the way across. And you might be thinking to yourself, why didn't I erase away the excess marker here? It's because I didn't really draw it as hard, so I didn't have to add a whole heck of a lot, but I would normally otherwise. All right, so the hand is darker because they do walk on their pads. So we will make these darker. Switch over to the chiseled and back to the nib. And a lot of this color gets kind of taken away. And then when we add our line work underneath, over the top, we'll be fine. Thank you for dealing with all the internet problems. I do really appreciate it. If you're new, please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Okay, I am going to make this little chin part darker. It's not what's on the character itself, but I'm making the character my own. And that's a fundamental thing that I really want to hammer home, is to make these characters your own. Oh, I will, Liberty. You know, I always want to emphasize that. Make the character, hey, Midnight Chill, what's going on? How you doing? Here's a question for you. Have you ever thought of using more styles in the future? Oh, yeah, I use tons of different styles. Like, I've done fire, I've done realistic, drip, neon, glitch. I've done wooden, I've done water, I've done puzzle, I've done cracked, I've done torn, both of which I would like to say that I created. I've done pulled. Once again, I think that I was the only one that's ever done a pulled effect where the character looks like they've been stretched. I've done shattered where it looks like the character's been shattered to pieces. Yeah, I mean, I could, for the next time I'll do something like this, I'll literally write out the entirety of all the styles, for lack of a better one, that I know. Oh, really, North American? Oh, well, then welcome back. And I'm so sorry because I have so many people that I don't always remember everyone, so I do apologize. All right, so let's hit up the face. And if you're having problems shading your characters with alcohol markers, I'm going to show you a really cool, quick way to get a quick shading. So we have a base layer here, right? But we want to give it some shading. So what we do is go over the top again with our alcohol marker. And without having to add much of anything, we have 3 dimensions. Same thing here. We can go back over the top and without having to add color pencils or more layers, since I know where everything is established, it's the same color that I was working with on the above. And with a light feathery stroke, I can go over the top and make it darker. But I don't want it to go too crazy because it's a metallic sheen, so I really want to emphasize that metallic shine. Same for here. I'm going to just give this a little bit more of a 3-dimension because of those thick pads that they have on their hands and feet. But we're not going to go too crazy because we want to keep that 3-dimension. And I will use very thick black because the mouth does have a thick black tracing. Also, we have the whiskers. Make sure that those are represented. I'm only using black sparingly, and I'm not using too much. But I will use black in the darkest places, because it is an animatronic, so the darkest places to get them to pop, I'll use my nice black ink pen. Well, that was just because with the whole falling off, that's because I was trying Fallout stuff. I'm a huge Fallout fan. And I kind of stayed away from FNAF. But the recent Poppy Playtime video, which is in the same wheelhouse, really hit. So it's more like finding my niche and kind of just sticking with what the people want to see. Because sometimes I just kind of go a little hog wild where it's like, hey, I'll try this and you will like it. But it's YouTube has a great way of telling you, listen, your fans really love this. Just do that. Just do that. Don't try anything new. But the problem is I create stuff for other platforms as well. So Fallout on Instagram does incredibly well. On TikTok does very well. So I have to kind of think about other platforms as I build my pages. What one might land well here might not land elsewhere. So it's kind of that rough little balance that I have to kind of adjust to. So like the same videos across YouTube and TikTok get different views, especially on Instagram as well. I find art hits a lot better. On YouTube, you have to do something specific and do it very well. So it's either you have to be the best at it or you have to be the most entertaining. And you have to find that battle of niche, if you will. Try to find how to be resonating with an audience and entertaining while yet still wanting to give the value of something that they haven't seen before. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel and why? That would be my niece. She was young and wanted to learn how to do art and asked me to teach her how to draw. And this was about 3 years ago. I went up to my sister-in-law and I said, of course, sweetheart, I'll teach you how to draw. Leaned into my sister-in-law and I said, I haven't drawn anything in nearly 8 years. And that's the God's honest truth. Prior to starting my channel 3 years ago, I had not picked up a pencil and gave a meaningful drawing in about 8 years. I did not like art. I did not like the way the art world was headed for me. A couple of just simple reasons, but the main reason being is that I really wanted to do certain cool things, and when you're in art school, that's not, and when you're learning art in a traditional school, that's not really what's taught. And I like doing fun things. I like creating characters. I love designing new things. You learn none of that in art school. Like, just straight up, you're not going to learn any of it. Don't expect it. So, you do a lot of mundane, repetitive things. That's not me. So I just kind of got burnt out from art. I was kind of just done with the whole concept of art. And so when my time came, I just kind of bowed out and gave up. But she helped inspire me to get back into art and why I loved art and seeing people create things in the art community on YouTube. I was like, wait a second, I could do that. I could literally do that. And just like riding a bike, it took time to get back to where I was. And I like to think that I'm better now than when I was when I started. Many, many years ago. So yeah, that's pretty much it. She's been in a couple of my videos in the past. I do keep a sketchbook with her to teach her, and I try to show her the progress that she's made. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My niece is the reason why I started this page. Give a little more 3 dimensions. Now let's give. I'm going to cheat and use a paint pen for the shadow here. And then what we're going to do is grab a nice gray, and we'll color in the teeth. And the realistic side is going to be last. That's pretty much what a lot of people come to see. Liberty, I hope you like the way this style came out on this section. So it's kind of fun. Add some of those bolder highlights for the nose. Can you draw a Giblet from Poppy Playtime Chapter 5? Well, I mean, I am drawing the prototype, and you're going to get like a 2-second flash of what I've done so far. So you got like 2 seconds. Doing the prototype, and then I plan to draw a Giblet. Ready? 1, 2, 3. If you caught that, you caught that. If not, you're going to have to watch it again and pause it. As we now head on over to the color pencil side. Now, I mean my realistic side, right here. Ba-bam. My little cheat sheet for realism is coming up right now. And the one way that I like to cheat at realism is by using a nice ink wash for the highlights and the shadows. And by doing so, by establishing the darkest of darks first, I can really get in all of the details that I want. Because I'm not looking to do everything in color pencil or alcohol marker. So if I can cut back some of the time, then so be it. We shall do so. But I also just like the featheriness of these ink pens, because it's like you can get that really feathery hair-like quality to it. And just, yeah, that should be good. Now, I'm not worrying about so much blending. I'm worrying about showing where the biggest areas of 3 dimensions will be. So I'm adding texture to the paper by doing an underscrub of some shadows and highlights by using the ink pen, showing the movement of the hair so we know it bends, and by putting it in certain spots, you kind of get a feeling of where the shadows are without actually having to commit to a whole heck of a lot. Well, the styles have already been made, Liberty, so I can't unmake them, unfortunately. And one of them was inspired by Nick Moran, who is an amazing artist on YouTube who I've done a collab with. So I will do him a shout out for his style that he created in the video. And we're getting close to wrapping things up with this particular style. Alright. Now, move that over there. Put this underneath. Boom. And then what we do is erase away. Erase away. Okay, now what we do is this is the slow, arduous part of realism. This is where we are going to have to take our time. If you want things to be realistic, you just have to take time. This whole little section will take us about an hour, roughly. Maybe a little less. It all depends upon how I feel, but it should be about an hour. So sit back and relax, and once again, feel free to ask any questions you like. I will be primarily using alcohol markers and color pencils. I'm not a fan of doing characters with fur. If you've been with the channel long enough, you know it's kind of like my hubris, another one of my many hubrises, but fur is just something because it takes so long and it's just arduous. Well, my next series of drawings are going to be the prototype and then Giblet, and then I don't know because we got the Mario movie coming out in less than a month, so I will be doing a ton of the Mario movie. But for right now, it's going to be Poppy Playtime and maybe some Invincible because I'm a huge Invincible fan. And I'll have to see if people in the community want to see Omni-Man and, ask me, are you sure? And if you know, you know. And if you don't, I'm sorry. So to get the smooth glossiness of an eye, what I like to do is basically rub in a nice medium tone of gray and then work the white and blend that outward. Except I just had my pencil break, so now we gotta do it again. Yeah, I did, Liberty. I said that I'm not going to do a FNAF because I already have the styles picked and half of the drawing has already been complete. So, yeah, are you sure? But yeah, I may for another. Oh, did I just break that again? Yep, broke it again. Oh god, these soft cores, they're nice, but they're almost too soft, where they break every 5 seconds, and it's really flippin' annoying. Is this one broke? You know what? I'll just go to this other one. So we pull the gray out by smearing it with the white, and that's how we blend. And why do I keep losing my music? Son of a gun. Give me my royalty music. I wants it, and I wants it now. Let me see. Just pull up the entire album. Give me the album of this person. Give me some music, and let me... Oh, it's only 3? No. We'll go back to the... I need to have music because I'm going to go bat crazy if I don't. Let's go this. Home. All right. Good. Now I can get some music going. Relax. And then by pulling in these grays, Key thing is when you're working color pencils, don't press too hard. Just work slowly and allow the pigment to come right off. If you press too hard, you'll flatten the paper. It's called burnishing, which is a technique, but you generally don't burnish until the very end. You build up your layers before you flatten them. It's kind of like the principle with digital. Like, you want to build up your layers before you flatten it, because once you flatten it, you're kind of just stuck, and you don't want to be stuck. Now, where is Mom? Oh, here we are, my darkest gray. I can just pop in right there. And we use the darks very, very seldomly because we want really just to let everything pop naturally. Sometimes there's a call for a pure black, like right here, but we use it once again seldomly. And as you can see, the eye just now pops, right? Just like it comes to life. You use them carefully because one small mistake can lead you to crash out. No, not so much about crashing out, Kitty. Not so much about crashing out. It's just, it's a very fine control. And the more time you take to not mess up is the better chance you'll have to have something look really smooth. If you kind of just quickly go da, 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 and rush, then yeah, but you really want to make sure you don't rush certain aspects. Give it that real, like realism is time. Random, what's going on? So for people who do not know, Random is probably one of my oldest subscribers who pretty much commented on every single video that I ever made up until one point. But yeah, she does lots of jewelry and other things as well on her channels. When I try to do realism, one thing that I will do is find one color and kind of layer it in and then feather in a lot of alcohol markers over the top. So we've already established our grays. Now we can go in with all of these colors and then pop in our little hair over the top. I always like getting the eyes in first, because once the eyes are in, it kind of feels like the whole piece just comes together. So before we go too much further, just going to add this base layer. Kind of give an indication of where the color goes. And then we can go to the next eye. Thanks, Random. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been a nice little chat tonight. Been nice chatting with everyone. Especially because here on the Northeast, it's been nothing but blizzard season and just not no good niceness with the bad weather that's out there. So anyone who's in the Northeast, well, stay safe because it's been yucky all day today. Alrighty. Okay, and millions of gray pencils that I can never seem to find. Alright. Yep. Seriously, like I've got a million pencils and more than chilly northern, I've got like 2.5 feet of snow outside, just when we thought the snow was going to be gone. So, yeah. But my plans, I work. I work for a living because that's how I afford my ability to do this. Without this, without my job, I wouldn't be able to do this, and I wouldn't be able to enjoy the things that I actually like, which is creating stuff for people and doing more lives. I would have been at work today if it wasn't for the fact that they actually had a national emergency and basically closed down the entire state to everything but essential workers. Boom. And nice little highlight. Nice little highlight. And then, where is, here we are. I'm not pressing too hard, so when I add these little lines, there's more of like a subtle dot. It's like, just as like it. You're not trying to make it completely dark. Just a subtle indication of dark. So just adding a light layer of gray to indicate where the hairline kind of ends. We're going to add lots of brown over the top. We kind of need to know where everything goes. So we just kind of throw it in, because hair coats have natural grays and blacks and browns, etc. Yeah, it's been quite horrendous. Been quite horrendous. I had to snow blow for a couple of hours outside. Okay, now what we can do is grab some of our nice colors. I'm going to work with some peaches and some ginger root for some of our colors, and then just pop in the darkest of the darks at the end. So we want to just bring this down in color, but still it'll have that nice tint, so it's not just pure color of ginger root over the top. So we pop this in. Then we pop some of the beige skin color over the top of that and blend those two out. And then, I'm going to keep these off the side because I'm going to need them. We whiten it out. And I am going to burnish here. I am going to press pretty hard to lighten this area, because then I'm going to go over the top with this little brown pencil and flick in the little hairs over the top and just lightly score in some hair textures. That's how we're going to get all these nice little hair texture variants. And then, actually, I need to go even darker. So for this eyebrow, I'm going to go even darker. Once again, I'm pressing pretty firm because it's pretty much the only color there that is indicative. But as you can see, when we start to add those little flicks, that's when you get all those subtle hair textures. And then when we take this little faded black pen that we were using before, and this is the perfect time to use it, you can, it'll float right over the top, and you can add just these beautiful subtle blacks that just a few, just enough just to make it just like a whisper. Let them pop right off the page. I am in New York. I am on the longest of islands. And a good tip for when you're using color pencils is work in small, tight, circular motions. Don't use your hand, use your arm to kind of just do that, because this way your hand won't cramp and you won't be sitting there crying the blues that your hand hurts for half an hour because you've been cranking out a color pencil drawing for 3 hours. If you just work in tight circles, you'll be able to get nice coverage that way. Hey, Darvin, you made it in. What's going on? Yeah, New Hampshire's a little bit of a hike for me. I've been there, though. It's beautiful, especially in the fall. Upstate New York, Northeast in the fall is just awesome. Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, they're all really cool. We're just adding in those wisp of hairs. And a good way to start, whenever you have hair that kind of flows out like this, start from the base and then just flick. But we want to add, we don't want to just go line, 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 line. We want to give it a little flick. Just that little something. And you kind of lifting up as you flick away. Lift up and flick away. And that's how you're going to get all those little subtle hairs. And then if you take a black pencil and just work over the top like that, that's how you'll get all those subtle highlights and little drop shadows added in. Just a little flick and lift, flick and lift. And now the chat can see why I'm not a fan of realistic fur, because it's just a lot of this. Flick and lift continuously on repeat. And it's like, glide and pivot and glide and pivot and glide and pivot and glide. I could go on forever with this, and I just may. Thanks, Darvin. I appreciate it. Yeah, I bet it's really fun in the winter. Yeah, it can get hot. It can. I do find that, like, down south hot, Carolina hot is a lot different than New York hot. Even Vegas. I went to Vegas for my 40th a couple of years ago, and Vegas hot is just next level hot. That was, yeah. That'll hit you like a brick. You know, all of a sudden you're like 116 degrees and you're just dying of sweat. Okay, so go like this. And blend everything out with a nice white. Burnish pressing again, we're pressing pretty hard. And you might be saying, well, I can see the white, and that is okay because we're going to add all the little hair textures underneath. So it might look a little sloppy now, but that's okay. We build up in layers and layers and layers. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will this drawing. Thanks, Darvin. Appreciate it. So now we're just going to take and do that flicking method that we were talking about. You can either go this way or that way. We're just going to take that flicking method and build up all these little hairs. Thanks, Arvin. Yeah, it's kind of something that I always was really good at, is replicating or re-replicating something. Though I love creating my own characters, I was never really good at it because I felt like it always looked like something else. Every time I was trying to make like a Deadpool character, it would just make it look like Deadpool. If I was trying to create like my own Mario Universe character, it would just kind of look like something that already existed. And that's why I just knew that like one of my things was I'm just really good at replicating things, and that's kind of it. It's not a bad thing. It's just knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And sadly, that's just one of my my drawing weaknesses is that maybe my imagination as I got older isn't as strong as I used to be. So I am really good at replicating though. I'm going to try and keep this under 1 hour for this section, mainly because, well, I don't think you guys want to see me go flick, 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 flick for half an hour, 4 hours on end. But I want to kind of just get down the overall concepts of what we do. What is the worst feeling of drawing? Monotony. What I'm doing right now, this to me is painful. Like I despise this kind of like same repetitive motion. It's why I really can't do hyperrealism, and I appreciate people who have the struggling patience to sit and do hyperrealism or really strong realistic pieces. I just don't have it. I wish I did. I swear I wish, but I can't sit there and go, "Oh, look at all these wonderful details I'm creating." I don't get any intrinsic value out of it. I get happiness enjoying when I'm drawing something that has lots of cool, fun details and textures. Hair to me is not. This is kind of just. It's the same repetitive motion, so it doesn't add things, and I have to kind of try and keep my mind going on the next fun thing that I'm going to do. So it's yeah. Anything that's repetitive with drawing is just not it for me. But it's okay because we're almost done with this section. Now, let me get a nice dark gray. Ready? And we can color in the nose. Do love the questions. Keep them coming. I'm always apt to answer anything. That's why I kind of like break up the drawing too. Is like, so I'm going to start with the nose now because I just spent so much time going with all these little micro hairs, flicking them in, that it's just like, okay, it's time to move on. You know, we gotta move. Because otherwise, I'm going to sit here and see all these other things. I'm like, oh, I missed that, or oh, I should have done that, or oh, and it's like, no, just let's work on something different. And what I'm doing is I'm allowing the paper to act as the little dimples that you'll see throughout the face. I mean, the nose, rather. So I'm going to allow all the little bevels in the paper. When I just gradually rub the color pencil across the top, that's how we're going to get that nice spotted textured look. And you can get that really simple, realistic effect without any application at all. What's your favorite drawing that you've already that you drawn already? I think I showed it earlier in the stream. Oh, Darvin, I showed it earlier in the stream, but I'll re-show it again. This is from my Fallout. That is it's kind of like what my style is. It's fun, it's quick, it's colorful, it's expressive. Is it hyper realistic? No. Does that matter? No. It's fun, it's quick, and expressive. This is the Master, and this is Marcus. They're both super mutants. It's something that I really enjoyed. I did that 2 years ago, and that's one of my most favorite things that I've drawn. For me. One of the best, like, pure that I'm proud of is probably one of the FNAF pieces that I did. Just, I love, there is one Springtrap drawing. Let me see if I can find it now. Alright, just give me 1 second. I will find this Springtrap drawing. Alright, if I can find it. Where's my sketchbook? Was it in here? Erg. Erg, says the man. Hold on 1 second. I will find this Springtrap drawing. He will find it, he says, as he aimlessly looks through his millions of drawings. Okay. Hold on. Hold up, everyone. Where is my Springtrap drawing? Where are we? Oh, darn it. Can I not find my drawings? Why is it that every time I look for stuff, I can't find stuff? Ugh. This is what happens when you have, like, how painful? Like pain or just time-consuming annoyance? It's not painful. I enjoy it because I know that people will find joy from it. So that's like I don't find it at all like quote unquote painful. The only thing that I don't like is some of the aspects of art, which is just sheer rinse and repeat, and there's less fun with it. So like another one of my favorite pieces, I just had it here. I can't seem to find it. Where? Oh yeah. Was it this one? Sorry, once again, just bear. Oh, here we are. Nope, that's not it. Oh yeah, I am losing my marbles, I tell you, my marbles. What the heck is going on here? Oh, nuts! This is gonna drive me insane until I actually find this stuff. This is what's gonna drive me crazy. Perfect. So this is something, right? This is like the pieces that I love to create. So if you don't know, this is the NCR Ranger, and it was paint pens versus like this right here is the kind of stuff that I like to do. Things that are really colorful, really vivid, kind of like the cotton candy effect that we saw. It's just stuff that I like to do. It's fun, it's expressive, it's quick, it's semi-realistic. It's pretty much impressionism with a modern flair. That's like those are the kinds of pieces that I love. I don't like sitting there for hours. I want to create something. I want it to feel finished and I want it to be done, and it's pretty much it. Like I want to feel like there's a sense of accomplishment. And with realism, unfortunately, the problem is the sense of accomplishment might not come until hours later. So you're having to sit there and it feels like you can see the finish line, but it's not complete. You can see it, it's like right there, but it's still not complete. So it's the push pull that happens when you're doing realism, and that's the not the problem. It's just when I do fun pieces like that, in 30 minutes it's done, it's complete, boom, it's ready. You can see it. When you do realism or even hyperrealism, that's like 30, 40, 50, 60 hours. You don't see that. You could see it getting there, but it feels like it's going to take forever to get there. So I don't feel the joy and appreciation on my own sense, and I respect every artist that can get to there. I like creating details, but I want to see it finished, if that makes sense. It's a very weird dichotomy. I get it. So when I do my realism, I try to keep it within an hour because it's like a mini challenge, if you will. I was definitely influenced by the painters of the late 1700s and early 1800s, the Paul Gauguins, the Renoirs, the Jean-Paul Sarraz, the Impressionism and the Post-Impressionism, because they were so countercultural for their time. Back then, they were considered the mavericks. Like, you can't do that. Like, you're supposed to paint like this. Like, there was a style. You were supposed to paint Mona Lisa style. You were supposed to paint, realism, and they were supposed to be approved by government and church, and you weren't supposed to, you know, or rich families and do portraits, but they had a realistic look. You were supposed to go to school for these things by those schools, and they basically said, no, we're going to do things the way we want, and we're going to showcase that you don't need to do the things that you want to do the way you want them done. And it's a little bit of that counterculturalism that I think I also latch on to. Being a 90s kid that's kind of like being countercultural was par for the course. All right, where's that green? All the markers in the world. There it is. I can say all the markers in all the world, and I can't find my green. Okay, now. Still live. Still live. Still live, Liberty. I'm planning to do one in Thursday if things work out. But yeah, hope I will definitely leave a post in my community section. Thank you so much for stopping by. Much appreciated. And great to see you back. Alright. And just those subtle textures. Always want to add textures. Fabrics have got bends and within the cloth, so we want to represent those. A great way to do so is with these nice pigmented inks. Just layer on top layer, and get these nice blends. Alrighty. And then grab a nice purpley color. Okay. If anyone's got any other questions, by all means, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm here to answer any art questions you may have, or if you just have questions about how I go about certain things, and then I shall be happy to answer. Okay. Okay, now we want to get some of that yellowiness in the teeth. We will take some of this. Grab and pull some of that black out. Blend some of that black in. And then go over the top with some gray and some spots. And then we take our white and blend all of that out. Make it look nice and smooth and glossy. Now, add a light pink here. You know what I should have done? It's just to blend out some of that. take this is dark purple, blend that in on top of each other, and then and once again, I could take hours and work on every little detail that I see, like super zoom in and see where like the faint lines are and the teeth, etc. But then it's just takes away from me the joy of what art is. To me, it should be fun, it should be fast, it should be expressive and enjoyable. And sometimes when we go too slow, thank you, Darvin, I appreciate that. And sometimes when we go super slow, it takes away what I love about some of these styles. I want it to be fun, I want it to be representative, and I want to feel like I accomplished something. Maybe I might do it like as a challenge one day. Like, I drew this piece in 60 hours. Is it a W kind of thing? But I would have to not have a full-time job to do those kind of fun challenges, which sadly at the moment I have to work. So we shall see. Right now I just like creating fun drawings for all of you. It's always great to see people in the comments. And also in the YouTube comments. Like, I just love reading before I go to bed. It's kind of like nice little fun affirmations to see everyone just with fun suggestions and comments and their thoughts and feelings, etc. Really is just cool. It's a great way to like brighten up your day and great way to just end the day. Okay. Where's my lighter pencil? We go. Boom. Boom. Oh, the phone is buzzing. And then boom. Then we can take okay. Trust me. Oh no. Afton, you did not join at the last minute, not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, yeah, it's probably going to be like another 15 minutes before this thing is even completed. So you have shown up at the right time. And now we go back to the flicking method that I was talking about earlier. Afton is probably one of my biggest contributors to comments in my community. And he loves to do little meme posts and little shorts of a lot of different characters. So if you're into Hell of a Boss and a lot of FNAF, etc., he does lots of little fun videos of that. So you might be interested in just swinging by and seeing what he has to offer to you. And this is the fun, slow part. The fun, slow part. I'm not going insane. I swear, I swear, I swear. And I swear that I'm not going insane at the moment by drawing. No, not ever. Sorry. You gotta do like these little singing things to keep you kind of going, otherwise your brain's just gonna start to go into mush, especially as you're in the home stretch of something. This is what I was talking about before. Like you could see everything. You're like, you're right there. You're right there. It's like I'm right in the home stretch. Let me just finish, please. Thanks, Darvin. Seeing new people pop in, so if anyone has any questions, we're in the home stretch, but I'm always here and definitely willing to answer any art questions y'all might have. So do me a favor, if you have any art questions, please feel free to ask. I think this thing's coming out pretty darn good. Just bit of a stretch, bit of a stretch, bit of a stretch. Alright, so we do. Where's our highlights? Where's our dark spots? Where's our highlights? Where's our dark spots? Okay. start from the pad out. Since these pads are pretty dense, we're going to make sure we get them established first. But we're going to use side of the pencil to make sure everything is really pigmented. And then, so what we're going to do is use a nice little white marker and just dab in the black for the shadow. And put these hairs in. Okay, let's feather in. We are almost finished. Like another 5 minutes, and we will be completed. And I will get a mental break. Working on this little section. Okay, now we just add the black in. I want to use the black pretty sparingly in this last little bit here, but I want to make sure that it's also represented for that nice 3-dimension. You got the darks here. We want to make sure that everything kind of has a cohesive. We don't want to just say, oh, it's the last part, we can kind of rush it, it's just an arm. It demands just as much detail and attention as anything else, so we want to give it that due respect as well. And with that, I think I'm going to say this is complete. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So, thank you all so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Let me know which side was your favorite. Was it the realist? Was it the new cotton candy? Was it the anime? Or was it the FNAF? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.